Good afternoon. Three soldiers share a barracks room. On Friday night, one of these soldiers, Bob, went to see an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie at the Post Theater. When Bob discovered that a Barney movie flick had been played instead, he returned to his room in disgust. When Bob returned to his room, he turned on the lights, found two roommates, Jim and John, sitting on Jim's bunk, partially undressed, engaged in a passionate kiss. Bob reported that what he had seen to the company commander, Captain Abel. Captain Abel is seeking your advice. What advice do you give him? This brief will explain and clarify the Army homosexual conduct policy. There are three takeaways points concerning the Army homosexual conduct policy. First, sexual orientation is a private and personal matter. Second, suitability for service based on homosexual conduct, not status. Third, homosexual conduct is a justification for administrative separation from the Army. Commanders and soldiers must be familiar with this policy and how it impacts their responsibilities. Commanders must ensure that their soldiers receive initial periodic briefings on this policy, act in accordance with the policy when faced with situations involving alleged homosexual conduct. The federal statute addressing the policy concerning homosexuality in armed forces is Title 10 of the United States Code, Section 654. The law states that homosexual conduct is grounds for separation from the Army. However, a member's sexual orientation is considered a personal and private matter and is not barred to continued service unless manifested by homosexual conduct. AR 600-20 implements the homosexual conduct policy. The homosexual conduct policy applies to all soldiers, officer and enlisted. All soldiers are subject to separation in violation of this policy. With limited exceptions, Section 654 requires a member of the armed forces to be separated upon following findings. The member makes a statement of his or her homosexuality or bisexuality. The member engaged in homosexual acts, including attempted acts or solicitation of acts. The member married or attempted to marry someone of the same biological sex. Easy acronym would be SAM, Statement, Act, or Marriage. Under 10 U.S.C. 654, the presence in the armed forces of persons who demonstrate the propensity or intent to engage in homosexual acts creates an unacceptable risk to the high standards of morale, good order and discipline, and unit cohesion of the military. The making of such statement demonstrates a propensity to engage in violation of the homosexual conduct policy. Reasonable person test. A statement to which a reasonable person would understand to mean the soldier engaged in, has a propensity to engage in, or intends to engage in homosexual acts. The statement could be conveyed through language or behavior. Obviously, a concrete statement such as I am gay, I'm a homosexual, violates the homosexual conduct policy. However, a statement creates a rebuttable presumption and can also be recanted. A soldier who has made such a statement may rebut this presumption created by the statement. The soldier is given the opportunity to present evidence he or she does not engage in homosexual acts and does not have the propensity to intend to do so. The burden of proof lies on the soldier. The soldier has made a statement, must present evidence that convinces the commander that the soldier has not engaged in such conduct and will not engage in such conduct in the future. Homosexual acts are described as bodily contact that meets the following criteria. Bodily contact between members of the same sex for the purpose of satisfying sexual desires. Any bodily contact that a reasonable person would understand to demonstrate propensity or intent to engage in such act. The act can be actively or passively permitted. Notice, the emphasis is on satisfaction of sexual desires and on reasonable interpretation. The policy attempts to address issues of diversity. Different cultures behave differently, i.e. different concepts of body space, different types of greetings, holding hands, caressing, so on and so forth. Acts also create a rebuttable presumption. A soldier may rebut the presumption created by the commission of a homosexual act. However, a soldier may be retained after the commission only if the below findings are made. The soldier bears the burden of proving to the board by preponderance of the evidence. Such conduct is a departure from the soldier's usual customary behavior. The soldier's behavior is unlikely to occur again. The soldier's conduct was not accomplished by force or against the other party. Under particular circumstances of the case, the soldier's continued presence in the Army is consistent with the Army's proper discipline, good order, and morale. The soldier does not have the propensity or intent to engage in acts. And marriage is straightforward. The attempt or marriage of the same sex. A commander may initiate a fact-finding inquiry regarding homosexual conduct pursuant to 600-20 only when the commander has received credible information of some homosexual conduct, statement, act, or marriage, which provides the basis for discharge. Remember, not investigating sexual orientation, only the conduct. There are no witch hunts to determine if the soldier is heterosexual, homosexual, or bisexual. Credible information is information that, considering the source and surrounding circumstances, supports a reasonable belief that the soldier has engaged in homosexual conduct. If a commander has credible information of criminal conduct, the commander should follow the procedure outlined in the manual for court-martial and refer to law enforcement authorities. Stereotypes do not constitute credible information. You must be careful not to confuse homosexual acts with associative behavior. Some common examples of associational behavior are going to gay bars, marching in gay parades, associating with known homosexuals. Such activity alone is not actual physical contact for the purpose of satisfying sexual desires. Only credible information from a credible source justify a fact-finding inquiry. Soldiers who report harassed on the basis of perceived sexual orientation do not create a rebuttable presumption. In other words, reporting of sexual harassment is not an admission of homosexuality and should not be regarded as if it were. Guidelines for carrying out an inquiry into some homosexual conduct is to investigate only the alleged conduct. Do not ask a question about sexual orientation, based on conclusions on credible information. And then contact your legal office for uncertain questions about the aspect of the inquiry. If a commander has credible information of criminal misconduct, he should read the soldier their Article 31 rights and follow procedures outlined in the manual for court-martial. Commanders must terminate the inquiry if it fails to verify the statement, act, or marriage. Most discharges for violating the homosexual conduct policy result in an honorable discharge. However, there are times when other non-honorable conditions discharge or court-martial is appropriate. A soldier's conduct may warrant an administrative discharge under other non-honorable conditions, or court-martial if these conditions apply. For example, there are times when a soldier will lie in order to avoid continued service. Commanders are not required to seek separation if a soldier makes an insincere statement. In most cases of homosexual admission, no investigation is required. The commander, however, may conduct a non-substantial investigation into the soldier's statement of homosexual conduct when the commander feels the statement is not credible. A fact-finding inquiry is limited to questioning the soldier individuals suggested by the soldier for interview and the soldier's immediate supervisory chain of command. Approval to investigate beyond the fact-finding inquiry must be obtained by the secretarial level. Substantial investigation, any investigation that extends beyond the questioning the member, individual suggests the member be interviewed and the individual's immediate chain of command. And in summary, we've talked about the homosexual conduct policy, whether it's suitable for homosexual service, and we must process quickly and emotionally and respect and protect all soldiers. Are there any questions? Thank you.